I knew I was German American and Austrian. I knew I had English and Welsh roots.
Well, I knew I was half Chinese, but I was really sort of unsure as to what the rest of the composition of my European ancestry was. My name is Taylor Michael Tan, and I'm a high school math teacher. I've traced my ancestry a little bit further on my mother's side than on my father's due to my grandfather on my dad's side being an orphan. On my mother's side, Northern European from the British Isles, and then also some of the Yugoslavian and Baltic area. But we don't really have a ton of information about who the rest of the family members were. In the past, I've done a little bit more research into my family history, but I've never really used any other official tools in order to learn more about my ancestry.
I'm Sabrina, and I am a doctoral psychology student. I'm half German. My mother is from Germany. I'm 5 or 4 generations back Austrian. So I used ancestry.com in order to get a fuller picture of my family. Talking to my parents and extended family aided the process of using ancestry.com. And the more basic information I inputted into ancestry.com, the richer of a picture they could trace back.
We want to understand where our ancestors have been, what they've done, and it makes us feel connected to them, and it makes us understand ourselves and our history a little better. Ancestry.com is unique because it has a combination of researching family history in a very strong way and the DNA component. It started about 30 years ago as a family history publishing company and grew from there. Looking from the point of view of the client, when they start to build their ancestry, they're going to start with what they know. So they will definitely know when they were born and where they were born. And then they've put down their parents' information. And if they have any ancestry information about their grandparents, they can put that into the tree as well. The wonderful thing about Ancestry is that the computer will put documents, connect them to the people you have named on the tree so that you will suddenly see how it connects. We worked very hard to get records from all sorts of archives, for example, from the National Archives, where they collected records, and they have collaborated with many other organizations and ended up with 20 billion records from 80 countries. So that's the first step. And if you hit brick walls, a great next step is to test your DNA, and that can really help the process along. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks to test the DNA samples. We have so many samples in our database that it's very productive. Once somebody tests their DNA, they can compare the results to others and get very interesting information.
Definitely found some surprising information. I was very unaware that we had any Scandinavian ancestry, and that was pretty cool to find out. I know that my mom was sure that she was half Irish and half Yugoslavian, and clearly that is not the case.
It really gave me a rich understanding of the customs and traditions of my family. My great-grandparents worked on farms, were potato farmers. That was pretty new for me. On my maternal grandparents, they owned a machine shop. So those were pretty big insights into my family roots.
I feel pretty empowered by knowing more about my ancestry. It really shows that all of us are connected. I mean, I knew that everyone was going to share a significant portion of genetics with any other human being, but it was cool to see that reflected in the data. My family isn't super close with our extended family, so knowing more about my extended family wasn't really something that I was super interested in, but given the opportunity to do so, I feel like I learned a lot and am interested in looking deeper now.
It actually just made me more curious and want to use the system even more. I care about my ancestry because I think it brings a lot of insight into where we've been, where we've come from, and it brings a lot of understanding of how I've been shaped and who I am today.
Now that I know more about my ancestry, I feel like I have a better perspective on how to talk about race and genetics with my students, with the public, and with my friends and family.